assistance required. I make you all sign!
See Sun Hill as you know it, for the last time. The Bill, Tuesday, 8:30.
If you're a UK business, what network can you rely on to reach your customers quickly, cost efficiently, and in a way that makes them happy? Royal Mail delivers over 81 million items throughout the UK every day. Magic.
Just imagine creating a kitchen that perfectly fits your dreams. Whirlpool. The beauty is built in.
Organic Essential Truth number 10. We'll try anything to look younger. Organics Anti-Age with Collagen E makes hair feel thicker and shinier, so it looks younger. Just not too young.
For all the little accidents, the near misses, and the times you're just wide of the mark, Domestos Ox is a bleach, but it doesn't smell like one, and it won't bleach your clothes. Yet it still kills germs. New Domestos Ox. Bleach without the blotch.
New visibly refined moisturizer from Neutrogena for smoother, finer, more beautiful skin, even without makeup. New visibly refined, the confidence of naked skin.
Yorkie, please, mate.
You're not a bird, are you?
No.
Explain the offside rule then.
A player cannot be in an advanced position of the opponent's last defender when the ball is played.
Open that. Stockings are tight.
Stocking.
Oh look! A big hairy spider! You know, that wrapper really brings out the beautiful blue of your eye.
Really?
Yorkie, the 5 big masculine chunks of chocolate. It's not for girls.
When you've got a big day ahead, the last thing you need is constipation. All bloated and sluggish. Like a lot of people, I take Senecot. It's made from natural senna. Just one dose at night works in harmony with your body for gentle, predictable relief when you wake.
Ready?
You bet. Go on, enjoy your day. Senecot, natural relief for a brighter tomorrow. You're watching Carlton at the heart of ITV1. Now it's time for a roundup of the latest news.
Western leaders quick to dismiss new Bin Laden video. Pensioner dies after attack on walk home from chip shop. Damning report into cancer blunders sparks shake-up. And Sven's battle to get his England players fit.
The ITV News with Dermot Murnaghan.
Good evening. Mystery tonight surrounds an unexpected appearance by Osama Bin Laden on an Arab satellite television station today. Recorded clips of the world's most wanted man were shown on the Al Jazeera station. It isn't clear when the video was made or where. Al Jazeera say they were just given the tape. As our senior correspondent Mark Austin explains, our government and America have already been pretty sceptical about it.
This is the video that's now under the careful scrutiny of Western intelligence experts. It shows Osama Bin Laden with his deputy Ayman al-Zawahiri. But what is not clear is where or when it was made. Both questions are crucial because nothing's really known about the fate of Bin Laden since the toppling of the Taliban. It's not even certain he's still alive. Al Jazeera say they received the tape 5 days ago. They'll release more later this week, but in these excerpts, only al-Zawahiri speaks, describing the September the 11th attacks as a great victory. But beyond that, there's no clue as to when the footage was filmed. The Americans are already suggesting it could be a patchwork of old footage for propaganda purposes.
The impression is that it is not new. The tape is new, but it does not reflect anything of UBL from recent periods.
And here the Foreign Secretary is also sceptical.
No one's quite sure what's happened to Bin Laden himself, and the search for him will continue, but I don't think it's anything to write home about.
A British biographer of Bin Laden believes he is still alive and that the tape's linked to the Middle East crisis.
By releasing this tape now, Bin Laden could be hoping to remind the world and remind the militants in the Middle East that it's good to rally under his banner, that he offers them a hope, he offers them a force for fighting against America and Israel.
Whatever the fate of Bin Laden and whatever the validity of this tape, what's clear is that remnants of his al-Qaeda network still remain in Afghanistan and still pose a major threat to coalition forces, including hundreds of British troops now preparing to go into combat there. The mission of these Marines is to help flush out the al-Qaeda fighters regrouping in pockets across Afghanistan. The Americans have already suffered attacks and casualties there. In the most recent incident, 4 died when an ammunition dump exploded. Now for the British as well, it promises to be a long and dangerous summer. Mark Austin, ITV News.
Well, earlier I spoke to our correspondent in Afghanistan, Julian Mannion, and I asked him first if the new Bin Laden video casts any new light on whether he is dead or alive.
Well, so far nothing conclusive, because up to now only about 20 seconds of this tape have been aired, a sort of promotion for a full screening on Thursday. And what we see in these 20 seconds is a completely silent Osama bin Laden sitting next to his sidekick, his number 2, the Egyptian al-Zawahiri, who orates on the subject of how September the 11th in the United States was a great triumph for their Islamic cause. All we have to indicate so far that this might be genuine is the word of the bosses of Al Jazeera television, who insist that this is a new tape, and that indeed is why they're screening it. On the other hand, it must be said that the US Secretary of State for Defense, Mr. Donald Rumsfeld, has cast significant doubt on it today, even going so far as to suggest that this might be a cobbled together, a sort of edit of other existing earlier tapes delivered to Al Jazeera for propaganda purposes.
Julian, whether he is alive or dead, operations, of course, still continuing in Afghanistan, and as we heard today, still a very dangerous place.
Well, so it seems. We've had the deaths of these American soldiers, apparently in an unexploded ordnance accident, and unquestionably there are dangers out there facing our own Royal Marine Commandos, who in the not-too-distant future will be starting their own operations. And what one might say about today's tape is that if it is genuine, very, very big if, but if it is genuine, the world's most wanted man may just be out there somewhere for the Royal Marine Commandos to hunt down.
Julian Mannion, thank you. The Israeli Prime Minister Ariel Sharon said tonight he planned to pull his forces out of some West Bank towns this week, but not Ramallah or Bethlehem. In Bethlehem, the battle around the Church of the Nativity continued, day 14 of the Israeli occupation. A day some of its people got to see the damage inflicted on their city. From there, John Irvine reports.
The Israelis retain absolute control of Bethlehem, and they have no plans to relinquish it until they get their way. They are preparing to leave other West Bank towns, but not this one. Here, the Israelis are still looking for men on their most wanted list. These are motorists awaiting questioning. Any Palestinian man taking to the roads can be stopped at the point of a gun. Checkpoint policy is stringent. Today, many people in Bethlehem got their first look at the state of their town centre after the battle. The Israelis lifted the curfew imposed on residents living near the Church of the Nativity. The district is now a stinking mess. There is decay and destruction. Normal life has virtually broken down.
The ancient streets and alleyways of Bethlehem had been renovated for the Millennium celebrations just 2 years ago. Now much of this town is lying in ruins. Its residents are snatching just a couple of hours of freedom. The Israeli curfew will be reimposed here in just a few minutes' time.
Is the curfew back on? Asked this confused Palestinian. Israeli clocks are on summertime. Palestinian ones aren't yet. They can't even agree the time of day. Keeping a close watch on Israeli flare over the Church of the Nativity, where this morning fighting resumed. The bell tower was hit. The Israelis say the gun battle followed the wounding of 2 soldiers shot by Palestinian militants inside the church. Here, tanks put out dense smoke to provide cover for the troops. That's the sound of a stun grenade. And that was an Israeli sniper. They were still active as we withdrew this evening. John Irvine, ITV News, Bethlehem.
And staying with that conflict in the Middle East, Israel today arrested one of Yasser Arafat's closest aides, who they claim masterminded terrorist attacks against Israelis. Marwan Barghouti, filmed recently in the orange shirt, is one of the leaders of the Al-Aqsa Martyrs Brigade, which is claimed to have carried out bombings and suicide attacks. He was picked up in Ramallah. Here, the hunt for a mugger who beat up a 77-year-old woman on her way home from a fish and chip shop has become a murder inquiry. Marie Watson, a great-grandmother, died of her injuries today, 8 days after she was attacked in Newcastle. She had no money on her, just a portion of fish she bought for her supper. From Newcastle, here's Terry Lloyd.
Mrs. Marie Watson was returning home with her weekly fish supper treat from this local chip shop when she was thrown to the ground. This shocking picture shows the appalling injuries suffered by the great-grandmother: a broken arm, fractured ribs, and severe bruising. She died 11 days later, and now a murder hunt's been launched.
It's an absolutely wicked crime. It beggars belief that someone can do such a thing in broad daylight in a highly populated area.
Mrs. Watson's attacker is said to be less than 5'6" tall, in his early to mid-teens. The elderly widow had reached this point, just 2 minutes' walk from the fish and chip shop, and only 30 seconds away from home, when she was viciously attacked from behind. She'd taken the precaution of leaving her purse indoors, and so the assailant got away with her shopping bag and the fish supper inside. A total value, say the police, of probably £10. Those who knew the 77-year-old are appalled by what happened.
Whoever has done it is total coward, and I just hope they catch them and they get what they deserve, because it's totally despicable.
Mrs. Watson's family are too upset to talk, but say the killer must be caught. Terry Lloyd, ITV News, Newcastle.
There was a worrying statement today that the lessons of years of mix-ups over breast cancer screenings have not been learned. It came from the Commission for Health Improvement. It said one of the biggest screening centres in the country gave 123 women the wrong results. Our medical editor, Lawrence McGinty, explains what went wrong.
Breast cancer screening units across the country will be checking their procedures after a report found unacceptable and avoidable failures here at the West London Screening Service. Chai, the health service watchdog, says the unit made tragic mistakes.
123 women received the wrong results. 11 women's diagnosis of breast cancer was delayed. Tragically, one woman whose diagnosis was delayed for 15 months has since died.
The report uncovered a litany of failings at the West London Breast Screening Service. The Commission for Health Improvement said they failed to follow national protocols. Medical notes were unclear and confusing. There was a shortage of staff and poor working relations, and a lack of effective leadership. But the report says there are implications for screening in clinics across the country. It recommends national standards of care enforced at all screening centres. And it says inspection methods should be audited to make sure they're up to scratch.
And we think this is a wake-up call across the whole of the breast screening service. This report is not just for the West of London breast screening service.
Eve Acorn says she was given the all-clear after an X-ray at the West London service, only to find later she had a malignant lump.
Having had to wait 6 months to get the final diagnosis because of all these delays and their incompetency, it's quite possible that I would have died.
Chai wants a shake-up in units across the country to make sure the same tragic mistakes don't happen elsewhere. Lawrence McGinty, ITV News.
Major failings in breast cancer screening. There's more still to come on tonight's ITV News, including a moving tribute from best friend of murdered backpacker, passenger's amazing escape in South Korean plane crash, and England players' message to missing Captain Beckham. All that and news from your area when we come back.
In America, this horns gesture is a celebration, but in Italy, it would be rather an insult. Red here signals bad luck, for the player sent off at least. Red here in China is lucky. These envelopes contain money. At HSBC, we never underestimate the importance of local knowledge, particularly when it comes to your money, because what we learn in one country can directly benefit our customers in another. HSBC, the world's local bank.
It must be great being a film star. All the attention. All that pampering. No wonder they're all so gorgeous. They can afford to look beautiful with all their money. In the meantime, we mere mortals now enjoy even more treatments and treats and pay with our Boots Advantage points. Yep, life's not fair.
It's not that your father and I don't love you.
No. It's just we feel it's time you spread your wings.
When you both finished college, we were happy for you to stay.
Well, it's been some years now.
Wouldn't you like a place of your own?
There's no place like a British gas home.
I don't see how Sybil's getting on.
With all their insurance claims, bad drivers are bumping up your car insurance. At Esure, we get them off your back. By only taking good drivers, we keep our premiums low. So with Esure, you could save up to 30% off your car insurance. Call 0845 045 5000. That's 0845 045 5000 now.
Welcome back. The best friend of the student Caroline Stuttle, who was murdered while they were in Australia together, has spoken about their special relationship, her lovely nature, and what had been a perfect trip. Sarah Holliday described Caroline as a beautiful person who was living her dream. Here's Shuli Ghosh.
As the investigation into Caroline's death continues, Australian police are using a mannequin dressed to resemble the backpacker in an effort to jog people's memories. Back home in York, Caroline's travelling companion paid tribute to her best friend. She said the teenager was an inspiration to others.
Words can't begin to describe the pain of losing my best friend. Caroline was such a special person. She was kind and loving, and she had such a positive attitude to life. She was truly beautiful, inside and out. My thoughts are with Caroline's family at this terrible time, and I hope that it can be some comfort to them to know that Caroline's last 2 months was spent feeling really happy and loved.
Caroline Stuttle had been robbed and fell to her death from a bridge in Bundaberg, 200 miles north of Brisbane. Police had been questioning a 21-year-old man over the incident, but now say they have no plans to speak to him again. Pictured here with Caroline during their travels, Sarah says the tragedy shouldn't stop others from visiting Australia.
The last 2 months of Caroline's life, she's done so many things that she wanted to do in life from the trip. And if people want to do it, I'd say they should still go because it's a wonderful experience to have in life.
She said her friend had been living the dream she'd worked hard for. Shuli Ghosh, ITV News.
The Pope has called a rare summit of his American cardinals to discuss the growing number of claims of child sex abuse involving priests in the United States. The Pope wants the talks to take place next week. The Church is accused of covering up misconduct. Somehow, from the wreckage of a crashed plane, nearly 40 people today either crawled or were pulled out alive. They were passengers on a China Airlines jet. Flight CA-129 had taken off from Beijing, heading towards Pusan in South Korea. It never got there. The 767 hit a mountain as it approached the airport. 118 people died in the crash. 39 miraculously survived. 9 others are missing. James Mates has our report.
The Air China Boeing 767 had been authorized to land despite fog and heavy rain. But as it approached the airport near South Korea's second city, Pusan, it hit a hillside and immediately exploded into flames. With 166 people on board, rescuers assumed they'd find only bodies. In fact, as they climbed this rugged hillside, they were to find that almost a quarter were still alive. There was an announcement saying we were 5 minutes from landing, said this man. I thought the plane was too low, and after a while I heard some noise as the plane was going up again, but then it crashed. In the hospital, many of those pulled out alive could clearly remember what had happened. I thought we were landing on the ground, said this man. When I came to, I saw the rear was on fire. There was a little hole beside me I could slide out of. Crash investigators are already at work, having already found at least one of the aircraft's black boxes. For Air China, this is the first crash in its history. It now wants to know why, with the weather apparently so bad, its plane was ever authorized to land. James Mates, ITV News.
In a moment, the England team on Life Without Beckham as they prepare for their latest World Cup warm-up match. That's after the news from your area. Hello, I'm Joel Hills. Now the latest from Central News. Parents of a group of children who died in a crash on the M40 9 years ago have joined a campaign to make sure seatbelts are fitted in minibuses. As Sandy Barton found out, they're concerned vital safety lessons have not been learned.
12 children and a teacher from Hagley School in Worcestershire were killed in the accident. Many would have been 21 this year. And there's not a day goes by when their families don't think about them.
It is in the back of your mind all the time. You tend to live each day learning to cope with it that little bit better.
Today, some were reunited to support a campaign to make minibuses safer, launched by the school transport safety group Bus. It's designed to raise standards. For example, showing children how to evacuate a minibus can save time and lives. And yet, some school minibuses still don't have adequate seat belts.
In this case, nearly 10 years on, and nothing much has changed. And from our own experience, we've found that a lot of school minibuses are operating in some cases illegally, and in other cases they're not maintained to the high standards that they should be.
9 years on, families of the M40 crash victims are still grieving, but determined the children's lives shouldn't be in vain.
So how do schools feel about this campaign? Well, speaking earlier on Central News at 6, Steve Fitzgerald, whose daughter Claire died in the crash, said he thought it would be welcomed.
Teachers themselves have a very keen sense of professional duty. They care for their children. They care for those pupils in their charge. I think they would welcome really what they're being given with this training course. They often themselves don't know what they need to check on. They take a lot for granted because they assume. And I'm afraid when safety is paramount, you can't assume.
There are fresh claims tonight of sexual abuse at former children's homes in the Midlands. A team of detectives are investigating alleged assaults on teenagers in the 1970s and 80s. Keith Wilkinson has the story.
At least 45 people are already complaining they were sexually abused as children at the former Tennell Assessment Centre at Harborne in Birmingham. 3 men have been jailed for sex offences there: Arthur Birch, Eugene Devotti and Terence Goodhall. Now the Tennell case police inquiry has broadened.
A large number of former residents of that establishment have now been interviewed. A proportion of those were actually residents in other care homes prior to and after Tennell, and a small percentage of those have indeed made allegations appertaining to other children's homes in the region.
Operation Commissaire is based here at Aldridge Police Station. Officers are investigating allegations of sexual abuse dating back to the 1970s and 80s. It could soon result in further homes facing scandal. Scandal that might include the former St John's Children's Home at Erdington in Birmingham, among others. Legal action is being coordinated by a Manchester-based lawyer.
We're preparing compensation claims, so we'll be preparing psychological reports on victims and gathering evidence in relation to those claims, and obviously keeping an eye on developments in the ongoing police inquiry as well.
And it could be the number of alleged victims will grow as inquiries continue. Keith Wilkinson, Central News.
A firefighter who fractured a colleague's skull with a Winnie the Pooh mug has lost his appeal against his resignation. Michael Mole from Tiverdale was convicted of grievous bodily harm against Peter Talbot last November. He appealed to the local fire authority after West Midlands Fire Service forced him to resign. MG Rover has admitted it's having problems supplying replacement parts for their cars. 9 out of 10 repair shops and Rover dealers contacted by Central News complained of long delays. Some said they'd had to turn customers away. MG Rover blames the delay on a change of supplier and says it's looking to halve the backlog of orders within a fortnight.
12 weeks I've been waiting for this car to be repaired. I keep phoning every day, every week and whatever, and all that happens is I get told that the parts are on back order, there are no spare parts at all anywhere.
Finally, the allotment where uniform is compulsory. The gardeners in this little patch of paradise have skipped Latin and dig in their blazers, as Jonathan Ray discovered when he got his green fingers burnt.
No St Trinian's this. King Edward VI Grammar School for Girls in Handsworth is an august institution with an enviable academic record. You might think that female Nobel Prize winners would be the role models, but no. Step forward Gertrude Jekyll or Charlie Dimmock, because one of the school's most sought-after perks is tending the allotment. What lesson are you missing to do this here this afternoon?
I'm missing Latin.
Well, really, I should test you on the Latin names of plants, because I'm a bit of an expert myself, you know. Let me prove it to you. Now, this is a very succulent example of Pineapplus ringus, and the fruit itself is under...
A yucca.
This is a fascinating variety of rhubarb. It's the variety with the fruit underneath, and then the leaves, when pummeled into a pulp, end up making custard. So there you've got your actual rhubarb and custard of culinary fame. And of course what these enthusiastic but not terribly learned young gardeners haven't understood yet is the importance of weeding, because the... Oh, I've dug one of the chives up. Sorry, girls.
We're back tomorrow morning at 6:30. Now, though, it's time to join the ITV newsroom in London. Good night.
Hello again. In a moment, England without Beckham prepare for their friendly against Paraguay. But first, a reminder of tonight's headlines. A tape of Osama Bin Laden has appeared on an Arab TV station. It's not clear when it was recorded. The siege of Bethlehem continues, but Israel says it's ready to pull most of its troops out of the West Bank. And police are hunting the killer of a pensioner who was mugged returning from her local chip shop. To end tonight, David Beckham's England teammates trained without him today, but he was very much in their minds. The coach, Sven-Göran Eriksson, put what's left of his squad after a weekend of injuries through their paces, ready for their friendly against Paraguay on Wednesday. Felicity Barr was there.
Sven-Göran Eriksson and his injury-hit squad arrived at Wrexham Football Club this afternoon for their first training session without David Beckham. The England coach doesn't show it, but he has every reason to feel frustrated. His original plan to field his best team on Wednesday has been thwarted by a string of injuries.
This is the worst injury crisis Eriksson's had to face since he took charge. Hugo Ekiog and Sol Campbell are the latest players to pull out, adding to a list that already includes Beckham, Rio Ferdinand and Emil Heskey.
At least Eriksson will finally see the injury-prone Kieran Dyer on the international stage following his return to fitness. And the Newcastle player has some encouraging words for the missing Beckham.
I had the same similar injury on the same toe, a second metatarsal, and I think I could have come back a lot sooner. But obviously the gaffer wrapped me up in cotton wool, so I'm extremely confident that David will be back and will be skipper in the side come June the 2nd.
But Beckham's absence means Eriksson must choose a new captain to lead England out against Paraguay. Gareth Southgate is one possibility, and if Beckham doesn't recover, he might even be skipper at the World Cup.
If that was to be the case, I'd relish it, but I'd just like to make sure I'm playing before anything else, and on the plane to Japan, and anything else would be a bonus.
The new captain will be announced before training tomorrow morning. Felicity Barr, ITV News with the England squad.
And that's the ITV News tonight from all of us here. Goodbye.
PowerGen, controlling energy for homes and business.
Hello, good evening. With some pretty chilly temperatures around tonight, down as low as -2 in places, a widespread frost, some patchy mist as well, and then later on cloud and some rain getting into those northwestern fringes. Straight away, let's pick up on this as we go into tomorrow. Patchy rain there for Northern Ireland, dry elsewhere, still got that mist lurking on. It ought to lift fairly promptly though, and by the afternoon we see the very best, the dry, sunny weather reserved for eastern places there. Later on, some fairly hefty showers getting into Northern Ireland. This is the way our temperatures look tomorrow. A high in London of 16, 61 in Fahrenheit. In Belfast, more like the 13, 55 in Fahrenheit mark underneath all that cloud and that patchy rain. Windy with it for western fringes. So yet another reminder of tomorrow. It's very much a case of an east-west split.
PowerGen, controlling energy for homes and business. Who said the past is a different country?
The last valley in England. Only 20 square miles of Herefordshire. The Golden Valley on a golden day in November. The best possible time to see it. But where is the Golden Valley and how did it get its name?
Heart of the country, 7:30 Tuesday on ITV1. Football next as we review the Champions League quarter-finals.
How can Lloyd's Pharmacy get your repeat prescriptions without you having to go to your GP first? The Lloyd's Pharmacy Prescription Collection Service. Sign up in-store today.
This way, please. Follow me. Thank you.
And the crowd are roaring the British boys. Great Britain gets the gold medal. It's gold.
Thank you.
Just by playing the National Lottery every week, you've raised over £11 billion in the last 7.5 years.
Thank you.
All of which is being ploughed back into projects like these. The National Lottery. You played, the nation won.
You don't want to do the washing up too often. Do it badly. Watch this. Oh no, I've forgotten this. Now the water's all greasy.
Really?
Fairy grabs grease and holds onto it, so at the end of the wash, a glass still comes out sparkling.
See? You can wash up more often.
Fairy takes grease out of your way.
And it is up to you, the jury, to decide if...
Don't let anything come between you and the Debenham sale.
Well, there have been some sleet and snow flurries reported, mainly across Staffordshire and Derbyshire, but those are readily turning back to rain now as milder air pushes in with all of this rain cloud, and there is some sizable amounts of rain about, most of it clearing to the north now. The rain clearing this afternoon, then clearing to showers, so still a wet day and still quite a windy one as well, but those showers will gradually die out during the course of this evening. And it's going to be largely dry for the night. Can't rule out further showers, but generally a quiet night. But towards tomorrow morning, those showers will really beef up, and there'll be more wet and windy weather spreading in during the course of the day. So the theme continues of a bit of a soggy end to the week and a soggy start to the weekend. Sunday's better. Bye-bye.
The Central 10-day weather line, 09063 66 60 66.